Hello world, Shelly here, and it's time for another episode of Foundation Fest, and today I'm checking out from Lawless, the Conceal the Deal Longwear Foundation. Retails for $39 for 1 ounce or 30 mils of product. Comes in 28 different shades. I have the 7th lightest shade, Champagne, which is light with rosy undertones. This is described as a long-wearing, lightweight fluid foundation that delivers modern full coverage. Don't know what that is. With a self-setting natural matte finish. It is vegan and silicone free. It's got some natural extracts in here. If you happen to be sensitive to them, be aware. Nasturtium flower extract. Don't know what that is. Limits free radical damage caused by blue light. Goji berry, bisabolol, and ginger extracts. Soothing anti-irritants. Suitable for dry, sensitive skin. Vegan, cruelty-free, recyclable packaging. Looks like they're claiming to feel like a serum. Fusing your skin with visibly even tone, blur pores, smooth texture, and cover imperfections. The deep end of the shade range is basically completely ignored in this line, so there's that. Wish that wasn't the case. But let's check out shade Champagne, swatched against a few others in my collection. Swatch time. First up is today's foundation from Lawless, the Conceal the Deal Longwear Full Coverage Foundation in shade Champagne. Second, I've got from Estee Lauder, the Double Wear Stay in Place in 1C1 Cool Bone. Third up is MAC Studio Sculpt in NW15. Fourth, I've got from Wet n Wild, the Tinted Hydrator in shade Fair. And last, from Misha, is the Perfect Cover BB Cream in 21. I already cleansed, moisturized, and sunscreened this 46-year-old face. I primed with the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer. I have a damp sponge to use on one side of my face and a brush somewhere here to use on the other. We will see if there is a preference either way. It's a very fluidy sounding formula, which I have shaken up.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I wasn't talking to you, Siri. Here we go
Okay.
for consistency. I will probably need a little bit more than I squeezed out there. Alright, let's try the sponge side, shall we? My Simple Human mirror has decided to stop powering on. I think it is dead, and that's infuriating for a product at this price point. Thank you, Simple Human, for a mirror that cost me hundreds of dollars and has given me nothing but grief. I will once again throw out there, if you have any suggestions for a mirror, what I need is the zoom in the default and then the super zoom. I can't have a mirror that has no zoom. My eyes are not good enough to survive without a zoom. I will say, this looks kind of nice. I wish I had my light, but pretty good redness cancellation from one side to the other in one pass with a sponge, so that would presumably be the lesser coverage option. Let's try the other side with a brush and see what we get. This is a Believe Beauty foundation brush. I think this looks equally good either way. I don't think there's a huge difference in the amount of coverage from brush to sponge side. I might prefer the look of the sponge side just a little bit more. Actually, they both look good. I think they both look fine. I'm going to try and build up coverage on my blue blood vessel and my sunspots a little bit. And my chin always needs a little bit more. So let's just see if we can build up just a little bit. It's a very fluid formula. Not a ton of building in the coverage, but it does look like it takes layering well enough. I don't see any caking going on or anything like that. This one looks pretty nice on the skin. Let's zoom in and take a look. The coverage is, I would call this a solid medium. I wouldn't go quite so far as to call it full coverage. Maybe modern full coverage is not what we traditionally think of as full coverage. I don't really know what that means, but it does look very seamless on the skin. It's a skin-like finish that does have some coverage to it. The smoothing on texture looks very, very nice. My pores are still visible. They're not super, super smooth. They look about the same as they did with primer before I applied the foundation. This does dry down to what I would call like a satin matte, and I would say you want to work a little bit quickly because I can kind of see where it dried down faster before I got to the blending part. So this would be one that you probably don't want to apply to your whole face and then blend out. I would go section by section to avoid getting any marks that you miss that kind of set differently than the others. They did describe it as self-setting. This is really pretty on texture. I really, really like the smooth look of this. Even on my forehead, it looks very, very smooth. Let's check the time. It is 11:36. Let me go put the rest of my face on. I will be right back. Back with the Lawless. I did not have to set this with powder. It is indeed, as they claim, self-setting. I had no trouble blending anything on top of it, which was lovely. I still think it looks nice and smooth. I like the finish. It is a matte finish. We'll see if that ends up looking dry on me over the course of the day, but so far I like it's got just a little bit of reflect to it, so it's not a flat matte. It's got some dimension. It's looking really nice. I'm really liking how it looks right now. Let's talk about the rest of my face. No surprises. Wayne Goss face palette in light gold. I've got the Clarins Jolie blush in Cheeky Baby. Natasha Denona Super Glow. And my eyes are the new Pat McGrath. This is Celestial something. Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey. I am trying out for the first time a new mascara from CoverGirl. It is in the Exhibitionist line. It is the Stretch and Strengthen Mascara. It's got some peptides and lash caring ingredients in it. I really like it on first pass. You know how I love that look of like a dense root that flutters out to a million different lashes. Like it looks like a lot of lashes. That's what I like. That's what this one is doing. So far, so good. Very good first impression. My lip is the Smashbox Always On Liquid Lip in Stepping Out. And I think that's everything. I'm also trying out Unbeliever Brow from L'Oreal, the Longwear Top Coat. And I have been just using it on its own. It's not quite as strong of hold as the Anastasia Brow Freeze, which is my holy grail at the moment. But it holds pretty well, even with my uncooperative brow hair that likes to fall down and droop. It's pretty good. So if you're looking for something that's more in the traditional, wand type of format and not a gel paste kind of a thing, I'm liking it. I'll give it that. All right, I am gonna go to work. I will check back in a bit with a daylight check-in, and I will come back tonight, give you guys my final thoughts. Hey guys, we are about 4 hours in, and I had to show you the best mask ever. Hilarious! Okay, this is gonna be like the overshare of the decade, but okay, maybe not that bad. But I rubbed all of the foundation off my nose because I literally had a runny nose while I was doing my lecture. My allergies are just nuts right now. And what do? Like you can't, there's no Kleenex, you can't wipe your nose, you can't. Not this mask, but my other mask. This one's got a bunch of lipstick on it too. But, so please ignore my red Rudolph nose. That was totally me rubbing it. Holding up pretty good. I really like the finish. This is just a really smooth foundation. I do like the finish. Let's look at the chin area of my mask. Well, it does appear that a good amount is rubbing off, so it's kind of transferring a bit. I was just looking at my phone. There's some foundation on the screen. So there's a bit of transfer going on. I would not say it's transfer resistant. This shade, I know that they said that it was a rosy undertone, but I really think it's more neutral. It's almost neutral as in like when I have a little bit of sun. Not that it's too dark, but it's that undertone. Like rosy, I think, is more like my chest. Ignoring my Rudolph nose. Look at the color other than my Rudolph nose. But yeah, other than the description on the shade, I think I can pull the shade off. I think it's fine. It's not too dark for me. And considering it's the 7th shade in lightness to darkness, there's probably some good amount of flexibility if you are more pale than I am. But that's where we're at, 4 hours in. I got one more class to teach tonight, and I'll be back tonight to wrap this one up. 11:29 p.m. That puts us right around the 12-hour mark. Let's take a look at how the Lawless Conceal the Deal held up. For as much product as wore off into the mask I was wearing at work today, it really kind of faded gracefully, right? Like, I can't tell too much that I had a mask on all day. I do feel like there's coverage missing from my chin and from my mouth. I did end up having to blow my nose. My allergies, you know, it's like such a conflict. I want them to stop, but when they do, it'll be winter, and I don't like winter. Anyway, everything else I think looks incredibly smooth. Everything's still in place. The smoothness is what I really enjoy about this foundation. I would say in terms of dry skin, I only feel the teeny tiniest bit less hydrated than I did this morning, so it's just a tiny bit not keeping up with my rapid dehydration, which is the story of my life. So I think it's still okay for dry skin if you have super dry skin, or maybe if we're in a drier part of the year in the dead of winter, it might be a little more drying, but I think it's all right. Let's zoom in and take a look. So most of the coverage in the center of my face where the mask would make contact is missing, but it did fade gracefully. I don't see anything bunching up, nothing settling into lines, nothing's gunked up anywhere. Blush, bronzer, highlight are still pretty well intact, and everywhere just still looks quite smooth. Forehead looks fine. It's a little tiny bit more dewy of a finish at this point in the day than it was starting out, but I think that's fine. I'm a fan of this finish. I think it looks very pretty. I would call it a satin matte because it's not flat. It's not completely flat. It has a little bit of a reflect to it, a little bit of sheen to it, but just a teeny tiny bit. So that's where the satin, I would say, comes in. I really like this. They have great ingredients. I wish they went further into the deeper end of the spectrum for darker skin tones, but the pale end of the spectrum is very well covered, this being the 7th shade, and I'm buying it as pretty much my winter shade right now. It might be a smidge dark for me in the dead of winter, but most of the year this is my shade. So if I had to give a grade to the Lawless Conceal the Deal, I'm going to go A-. It's a solid A-. I like it. I like it a lot. I do like it a lot. I'm glad to see a little more coverage sneaking back into the marketplace. Maybe it's time that we will get back into that nice medium full coverage zone, which I love. There you have it. Another episode of Foundation Fest is in the books. If you like foundation reviews, if you had fun with this one, give me a thumbs up down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.